Now you may be wondering, why are habits important? And habits are important because they literally make up who you are, at least while you're in this body, in this life. What we do on a consistent basis every single day is really what determines the quality of life that we're going to live. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Rosa and I haven't been here in a while. Let's just start with that. I've taken some time off of YouTube, focusing on myself, evolving as a person so that I can come back on here and share everything that I've learned with you guys. So let's do it. Let's get right into the topic of today's video, which is how I changed my life by changing my habits. Let's go. So let me start off by saying that I did not always have good habits, okay? I used to not have much structure at all. I would rely on motivation to take action, which, as you probably know, you can't rely on motivation because motivation comes and goes. I feel like in the past, I used to just wait on like this big like jackpot moment where I would finally feel like, oh, that's it, I made it, you know? But I quickly realized that my priorities were not being fulfilled. The goals that I was setting out for myself, I was not taking action in doing them. So I realized that this strategy on, relying on motivation, thinking that it's big leaps that will lead me to where I want to be, and not really creating that structure for myself, I realized that that strategy was just not working for me. I realized I was not acting in alignment with that version of me that I desire to be, until I learned about compounding habits. I started reading a couple books on habits. I will place those on the screen. And those really changed my perspective on productivity, efficiency, how to get my shit together, And I feel like since learning about habits, I've seen massive compounding results in my life, and we'll talk about it all in this video. But I also want to give a disclaimer that this video is not going to be some video that's going to like shame you or force you into adopting any specific habit, and I'm not going to make you feel guilty for not having your life together, okay? There's no hidden rules to life that state thou shall have X habits in order to lead a happy and successful life. No. And that is the beautiful thing about life, is that you get to make the rules for your life. So I'm going to be presenting the information that helped me. You can take what resonates and leave the rest. So drop the shame. We don't do shame over here, okay? Leave it at the door. You have goals and you want to reach them. So come with me. So clearly you are here because you are being called to adopt new habits in your life. But how do you know which habits to adopt? This really comes down to your priorities. I would even journal right now. What are your priorities in life? And who do you want to become? Once you have your priorities like front and center in your mind, you can then create habits that align with this version of you by working backwards. So let's say your priority is getting to the gym every morning, okay? So what habits do you need to adopt in order to get yourself to the gym every morning? Start reverse engineering your goals and turning them into habits, actionable behavioral changes that you can actually start implementing. Who is that ideal version of you, and what do they do every single day? So once you've got down the habits that you know you need to implement into your life, the next step is recognizing that whatever that habit is that you just wrote down, you're not going to be able to do it in a day, okay? It takes time to begin the momentum of creating new habits. And I learned this a lot in a book that I read called Many Habits to Weight Loss. And it really talked about this phenomenon of the human mind and how humans tend to think that you make these like huge, big life paradigm shifting changes in like a day or like a week, right? But really, change comes from small daily actions that compound over time and slowly but surely begin to completely change our lives. Now, this is kind of hard for our brains to actually grasp. Like, it's a very simple concept, but yet it doesn't come so naturally to us, right? We want to see, I can make a big cold turkey change right here, right now, and completely shift my life. But truly how it works is these tiny little baby steps that you take that seem so insignificant, but when done every single day consistently over a long period of time, your life is going to look completely different in 6 months, right? Rather than the alternative, which is what most people do, is they try to achieve so much in such a little amount of time. People set unrealistic expectations, and then what happens, they inevitably end up quitting because, our bodies aren't made to adapt to such fast rapid changes. So with this kind of approach, it is kind of set up for failure in a sense. So, 6 months down the road, instead of being 30 steps ahead like they would be by doing small habits, instead, you're at a place where you're maybe 5 to 10 steps ahead because you kept going forward and going backward, going forward, going backwards. When you do small little changes into your life and into your routine and into your habits, it's almost impossible not to keep up with and just continue to build upon each other and grow dramatically. If I want to be a fit and a healthy person, if I want to lose weight, for example, which has been my goal for a while now, I had to ask myself, what habits do I need to adopt to be that version of myself? But not just what habits do I have to adopt, but what habits do I need to adopt every single day? Now, I know if cold turkey, I start, eating only vegetables, cutting out all sugar, cutting out all fats from my diet, whatever the diet is, if it's too extreme for my body, I know I won't be able to stick with it. But I'm not looking for something to change my life today, for 1 week from now, for 30 days from now. I want to be that healthy version. I don't want to just lose weight and then just gain it back because I didn't properly establish the correct habits for that goal to be a sustainable reality for me, right? You need to ask yourself, what small, tiny habit, if done every single day, will completely change my life in 1 to 5 years from now? Your dream life is not built in a day. They're a result of small, positive changes compounding over time. Once I started looking at my habits and my priorities in this way, next thing I know, I'm living in a body I love. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm feeling more confident. I have soul-aligned friendships that I have nurtured and maintained. I'm traveling, I'm making an income doing what I love, and I'm healing myself and others in the process. I'm not saying I'm anywhere near my destination yet. In fact, I don't think we're ever really at a destination. Life is just a constant journey, right? Constant flow, constant new things to attract and receive and work towards. But yet I still recognize how far I have come from who I used to be. And I really genuinely attribute that to making small changes to my life that compounded over time. Because my changes weren't something that I was just like, in a week, in a day, I'm a completely different person. No, it's more like I was doing these little things every single day that I knew and that I know is going to get me to where I want to be. Next thing you know, I look back on my life 6 months from today and I'm a completely different person in a completely different situation. Now, you may be wondering, why are habits important? And habits are important because they literally make up who you are, at least while you're in this body, in this life. Of course, we have many, many levels to us as human beings, but what we do on a consistent basis every single day is really what determines the quality of life that we're going to live. And it's also going to determine what our life is going to be like and look like. What situations are we going to attract? What kind of person and energy are we embodying? We are the creators of our life. So how do we adopt new habits? Okay, you may have heard the saying that it takes 21 days to build a new habit. But actually, from the research that I've done, I haven't actually found any scientific evidence for that to be true. However, there is evidence that it takes from 18 to 154 days to form new habits. And from what we know from habit formation so far is that our brains like slow and easy changes rather than rapid cold turkey changes. So if we make a habit really hard for ourselves, it's going to be almost impossible to train our brains for this to become a new habitual part of our being. But easy habits, on the other hand, something like a mini habit, something like writing 50 words a day, something like getting up in the morning at your first alarm, something like putting on your gym clothes to start the habit of getting yourself to the gym. These are mini habits that you can start doing every day. These are small behavioral changes that start a forward momentum of you being able to do other things and do other goals, but it's that first initial little mini habit. Those mini habits only take our brains about 20 days to fully integrate and become a part of our daily life. So by starting with those mini habits, we're actually able to make long-term changes. You have to remember that the subconscious is always in charge. So yes, it may be a slower process, but it's actually lasting change, and that is ultimately our goal, right? If you go from eating fast foods every day to just salads and juices, your brain is going to heavily fight against it because it feels unsafe. It knows that something is wrong. But if you give your brain slow and steady changes, it won't repel it. Our brain has a change process that we need to work with, not work against, right? So I want you to decide right now, who do you want to become? Who do you see your ideal version of yourself? Who is she or he? And remember that your daily habits make up who you are. It creates the life that you're destined to live. So becoming your future self means embodying the habits that future you has. And that doesn't happen in a day. People tend to look at successful people and think, oh, they're a one-hit wonder, right? They just got lucky. They just are blessed to have the genetics or the habits that got them to where they are. But we don't realize that it's hardly ever actually just one action or one lucky decision or one big life event that brought someone to where they are today. It's a compound of every single day becoming 1% better, doing one small thing and building upon it until you're a completely new person. Small change is better than no change. What I would like for you to take away and keep in mind is that whenever you are feeling like you're in a rut, I want you to do one small habit, one small thing that's going to build your confidence and then go from there. Okay, because when we're in a rut, we tend to think we need this massive change, but what if it's just one tiny little action that starts that momentum? This is how we can change our lives. The question then becomes, do you want your dream life? Do you want to become that future version of yourself so badly? Do you want it bad enough that you are actually willing to change your entire routine and way of being, your daily behaviors? It's not enough to just think you want something, right? What daily actions are you taking to get there? Even if they're tiny actions, they still build up and they lay the foundation for your desires to flow into fruition. So what small habits are you feeling inspired to adopt? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know how you like this video. If there's any other videos or follow-ups that you'd like for me to record. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.